Any battle that you are going through in life, as a child of God, as a believer, any battle that you're going through, for victory to take place, two things are required. For you to have victory, for you to experience victory, for you to walk in victory, total obedience to God. Number two, having faith in God. That battle that you are in, for you to experience victory, pay attention. Having faith in God is required. Total obedience is required. Are you walking in obedience? I pose this question to you. Are you walking in obedience to God? Or are you walking in disobedience? Is your faith deep rooted in God? Or is your faith in the things of the world? Where is your faith? Bible says that Abraham never staggered in the promise of God. Even though he was 99, clocking 100, when now he receives Isaac at 100. What Abraham had was a dead womb of his wife Sarah. The wife is barren, number two. The womb is dead. But the man never wavered. He never staggered in the promise. His faith was in God. Abraham believed God and he was counted righteousness. For there to be victory, you have to have faith in God. Remember that your obedience is an evidence of your faith. Your obedience, that is why Abraham obeyed and goes to a land he doesn't know. Your obedience is an evidence of your faith in him, the one who called you, the maker of heavens and earth, God Almighty. So total obedience and having faith in God is required. Anytime Israel went to the battle full of disobedience, and I'll give you one incident. Anytime Israel went to battle full of disobedience in them, they failed. They were defeated. Because there is no victory in disobedience. Victory is only in obedience. When you walk in disobedience, what you expect or what you will experience is defeat. If you walk in disobedience, defeat. But if you walk in victory, if you obey God, victory is your portion. Many want victory. So victory is not a I receive thing. Yeah? I receive. Obedience is required. Having faith in God is required. If you want cooked rice with stew or you want fries, it's not I receive. There is a process. There is a process. There are ingredients. There is what is required. Listen to me carefully. Anytime Israel went to battle full of disobedience in them, they failed. They were defeated. But anytime they went with God's presence, anytime they went with God's presence, full of obedience, they received victory. In the book of Joshua chapter 7, let me show you one incident. Joshua chapter 7. You remember in previous chapter 6, they had victory concerning Jericho. And when they were going to Jericho to fight that battle, because they were to go around the world, I'll talk about that later, God gave them an instruction that don't touch any accursed thing. But there was a man in their midst, a soldier in the army of Israel, by the name Akan, who decided to take the accursed things and went and hid them amongst his properties. And now in chapter 7, God is sending them to go and fight Ai. Joshua sends men to spy the land of Ai. And the men who went to spy Ai, they came and said, Joshua, sir, Papa, our bishop, man of God, don't worry about Ai. Ai is it's a small city. What you need is just don't take all the army. We'll be wasting our energy. Take a few. Just a few number, of army officers to go and battle. It's a small city. It's nothing. Too little. When they went, they were beaten terribly. They were defeated. There was no victory. They received defeat and people died. Joshua laid down on the ground, crying and repenting to God and asking God questions. What have we done? Where have I wronged you? And afterwards, God says, verse 10, Joshua 7, verse 10. And the Lord said unto Joshua, get thee up. Wherefore liest thou thus upon the face? Why are you lying there on your face? Verse 11. Israel has sinned. Israel has sinned, and they have also transgressed my covenant which I commanded them. In other words, they have disobeyed. For they have even taken of the accursed thing and have also stolen and dissembled also, and they have put it even among their own staff. Verse 12. Therefore, the children of Israel could not stand before their enemies. Listen, when you are walking in disobedience, you can never stand before your enemies. What makes men stand before their enemies is obedience to God. I repeat my words again. When you carry obedience, you can never stand before your enemies. Israel could not stand before their enemies, even though they were too small. Ai was a small city. Ai was a small city. Ai was a small city. But because they carried disobedience, they were disobedient. There was a man of disobedience in their midst. They could not stand before their enemies. Therefore, the children of Israel could not stand before their enemies, but turned their backs before their enemies because they were accursed. Neither will I be with you anymore. God is saying, neither will I be with you anymore. God does not walk with disobedient children. That's why he's saying, neither will I be with you anymore. Until you deal with that one, I can't walk with you. Where there's disobedience, let me say this. It's a statement that I need to, disobedience repels God. I know you'd be, how can God be? God is super. Yes, God is super. But with disobedience, God will be far away from you. He says, neither will I be with you anymore, except he destroy their caste from among you. So when you deal with disobedience, God has no issues. God only has issues when you walk in disobedience. Pay attention. But anytime Israel went with God's presence, full of obedience, they received victory. When they sorted themselves, because God gave them formula on how to sort themselves. Joshua chapter 8, verse 1. Bible says, and the Lord said unto Joshua, fear not. The one who was saying, I'm not with you, I'm not walk with you. Now he's saying, fear not, neither be thou dismayed. Take all the people of war with thee, and arise, go up to Ai, or A. See, I have given I've given into thy hand the king of Ai, and his people, and his city, and his hand. When they sorted disobedience in their midst, and they walked in obedience, there was victory. But when there was disobedience, there was defeat. There is only victory in obedience. In disobedience, it's not victory but defeat.